Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, it's Friday. Welcome back. How you
Ah,
guys doing today?
I'm doing great. Like I
Derp,
said, man, it's Friday.
Derp, you hanging in there?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. It's
You,
Friday. Mike is bald on Friday. Got to
Mike
get
is.
down on the weekend. Yeah.
uh, that was good. That was good, Derpy. Good way to. That really cheered me up, man. I
That was
I, I
great.
needed that. I appreciated that. We need to just have you do that at random times throughout the show. If I'm getting,
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. It's Friday. Mike is bald on Friday.
that might be me. Is that me or is that you?
Should someone? It shouldn't be me.
Hmm.
Not me. I'm muted.
Yeah, maybe Derpy. Every time I get down on the show, maybe Derpy just ought to start singing.
Oh god, that's gonna be like a whole show.
Yeah, it'd be like a derpy concert, a very derpy concert.
No, I'm good.
I'm down for that.
I am too. Speaking of which, it's going to be fall on Monday, guys. Here we are. We're on the doorstep of fall. You know what that means? The whole entire football season is basically bunched up from here on out in these last couple months of the year.
Let's
Uh,
go.
Next step after that will be the playoffs in January. But guys, here we are. The NFL season is well underway. Pittsburgh Steelers, a big game this weekend against the LA Chargers. And I only got one thing to say: stack them wins. I think
Yep.
that it's the most important thing to do right now. You finish up this week against the Chargers, then you head off to Indianapolis. And after that, I don't remember the particular order, but I know that we got the Cowboys, we got the Jets, we got the Giants, um, somebody else in there, and then the Commanders. And then after that is when the season. Oh, and the Raiders was the other team.
Yeah.
Then the Commanders, and then it starts after that, guys. It hits the Godspeed. Here we go.
Yeah.
Six division teams, the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs. However, as much as I dislike the Dallas Cowboys, I'll certainly be rooting for them this weekend as they do host the Baltimore Ravens. So that game is as big for us as any of them. But again, I think, guys, right now, the main key of this season: stack wins, stack wins, and stack wins, because eventually these teams that are losing, the Ravens and Bengals, they're going to be playing the easy teams on the schedule, and we're going to be playing the Kansas Cities, the Cowboys, so on and so forth. So, Mike, that's my big thing for this
Yeah.
weekend.
Me too.
Outside of the X's and O's, stack wins, stack wins, stack wins.
Yeah. There's a lot of ugly football being played around the NFL right now. It's early. It's September. Get these wins because teams are going to start cleaning up on their offensive end. Like people say now that there's not the preseason's usually used for rookies and fringe guys. These first 3 to 4 games is more or less the preseason now. So work out the kinks of your offense, but play tight football like a lot of people's doing right now. We've been living and breathing that for the past 4 years now. So this team's adapted to it, and so we should. I thought we'd have like one loss. We'd be sitting at 1-1 after this first handful of games, sitting at 3-2.
He's a
If
doubter,
we can,
everyone.
yeah, if
He's
we
a
can come
doubter.
out, nah, kind of realistic, but if we can come out of this like 4-1, these first 5 games, I will take it. Or I'll take 3-1 coming out of the first four. We'll be sitting in a damn good position. But you get this when you go 3-0, the odds of making the playoffs again
Like
just
if
jump
we win
higher and
today,
they higher.
and then we win today, I mean this weekend, and then let's say we
Yeah.
beat the Colts. I mean, again, we want to
Yeah.
be realistic, but on the other hand, being realistic in saying that this team would be 2-0 were two different things, and here we are.
Mhm.
So after those 4 games, then I have it again, and not in any particular order: the Cowboys, the Jets, the Giants, and the Raiders, Mike, which very easily you could be going 2-2 in those 4 games. I think the Giants should be a team that the Steelers can beat. And I also think that the Raiders are a team that the Steelers can beat. Let's just say we don't beat the Cowboys and we don't beat the Jets. That puts us at 2-2 in the month of October, which again, let's just say this team could win this weekend against the Chargers,
Mhm.
and then against the Colts. You're then sitting at what are you sitting at, 6-2 at
Well,
that
see,
point?
we would have the Chargers, Colts, Cowboys, Raiders, Jets, then Giants. So
Yeah, exactly what I said. So
yeah, I got it in the right order.
But that doesn't. The
Yeah.
point is,
No,
those
I had it
four
figured out
games,
for the
Mike. I'm
math.
saying you
Yeah.
should be able to
Yeah.
get a 2-2 record out of. Correct?
Easily, yeah. Especially coming up here. We should be sitting out of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. Yeah. 4-2, I'd take 3-3, I'd be okay with because we'd still be ahead. The schedule be sitting at 5-2. I'll take that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, if we could win against the Chargers, which is, I mean, at this point, we don't know. We don't know what the Chargers are going to bring. They could come and they could, we've seen it before. A team that you thought that wasn't playing that well, they could come and they could, kick our asses perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say we do. Let's say we could win against the Chargers. Again, the Colts after that, they're still sitting at 0 for. They haven't won a game yet. So this game is big. In as I said, stack wins, stack wins, stack wins. If you could stack this win on top of the two that you have, looking at the Colts game, and again with those 4 games after it, Mike, again the Cowboys, Giants, Jets, Raiders, and then after that, immediately after that is the Commanders before the long stretch. You could have yourself sitting in a decent position. So that's why I hope they take this early part of the season as serious as they can and treat it like the playoffs, perhaps, because you don't want to be having the last 4 games of the season hoping that you could win those in order to make the playoffs. When you're playing the Ravens and the Chiefs, this and that. So again, I can't stress enough the stacking of the wins, in my opinion, is the big key this week outside of the X's and O's. And if they do stack wins early, Mike, I think they're going to be okay. One thing that it's said about the Ravens, Mike, since 1979, only 6 teams have qualified for the playoffs after starting 0-3, which the Ravens could very well be sitting at after this week's game at Dallas.
Yeah, I would. I so want to see them fall to 0-3. That's just going to help our chances so much more. And like you said, getting those wins, if we can finish 6-2, 5-3 in that first 8 games, I think that sets us up well for going down the stretch. So that's going to be huge if we can pull that off. And like you said, if Baltimore comes out and lays an egg and Dallas can do us a favor, this division and our chances to make it, not even sneak into the playoffs, but march into the playoffs, become a whole hell of a lot easier.
Mike, let me go over the injury
I have
list.
a question.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Is this Sunday's game a must win?
No, but
No,
it would be good. It would be,
no, but it would
great
help
if they would. If they would win, it would be great. Because again, you got the Colts that hasn't won yet. Then after that, Dallas, and then as Mike said, the Raiders, and then the Giants and Jets, whatever it is. If you could win this, it would be fantastic because you're sitting at 3-0, looking at a Colts game, and after that, as I said, 2 of the 4 should be winnable games in October. You really want to win this one. You really want to win this one. Is it a must win? No, I think for Baltimore, I don't even think they're a must win sitting at 0-2. But again, on the other hand, they're going to want to start not stacking losses.
Yeah, I think Baltimore and Cincy might have must win games because the stat you just read, starting out 0-3, that's going to be hard for them to come back, especially in this division to make. I'll just make ground in the division, but in the AFC standings, it's going to be a tough battle.
I don't think it's going to be as brutal for the Baltimore Ravens. Even if they lose this weekend and go at 0-3, they still have all the easy games that we're playing now. They still have the Denvers and you know what I mean? So they're going to win those games as we are in the hard stretch, as we are playing the Eagles, as we are playing the Kansas City Chiefs, as we are playing. So I don't think this game is a must win for Baltimore. However, it's certainly going to help. But they're going to get their wins, and we're going to get our losses. And when it comes down to it, at the end of the season, it's going to be, there's going to be records there, and you want yours to be better. So that's why I'm saying stack wins, because at the end of the year, when the Ravens go on a streak, they go on a run to finish out the year, we're going to wish that we had stacked wins early in the season when we could. And these kind of games here, I think, fall into that category. Mike, again, the Falcons, the Broncos, the Colts, the games that you regularly should win.
Yeah.
And I hate to say any game is a game that you should win anymore, because the NFL has become very
so much parity.
So, but them are the games again. It's backwards. We have the tough games right now. Our Baltimore has the tough games right now, and we'll have them eventually. That's why you want to get them wins instead of having to worry about Baltimore losing late in the year and things like this. Mike, I'm going to go over the injury report for both teams going into the week here, into the weekend. This was yesterday at practice. Russell Wilson was limited with his calf. Russell Wilson says, I'm definitely gaining ground with my calf injury. I'm gaining ground with my tight calf. Also, Mike, the Roman Wilson, wide receiver that we haven't seen yet, he had a full practice yesterday.
That's good.
I want to see Roman Wilson. I want to see him bad. We need him. Najee Harris, he had a full practice. Isaac Siamala with his pec, he did not practice. Michael Pruitt with his knee did not practice. TJ Watt, he had a full practice. Logan Joby, full, and Cam Hayward did not participate yesterday. He said it was just for rest.
Right.
The old man day, like the old Tim Duncan, old. Yeah, that's why he didn't practice. Why he didn't play. Old.
And then for the Chargers, here's what their injury report looks like. Joey Bosa was limited with his hip yesterday. Junior Colson did not practice with a hamstring. Bud Dupree did not practice with an illness. Alohi Gilman was limited with his knee. Justin Herbert limited with his ankle. Tight end Hayden Hurst was limited with his ankle. Outside linebacker Khalil Mack, he was full practice. Josh Palmer, the wide receiver, did not practice with his elbow and calf. And finally, Jasir Taylor was limited, the DB, with a fibula. So not every, both teams are battling the same kind of issues, guys. We can't go into this game and say, you know what, well, we don't have this guy, we don't have that guy. Well, they have just as important players, maybe more important for their team, are out as well.
Yeah, I think Herbert's going to play. I think they're going to shoot him up and get him out there and play. But how effective is he going to be with that ankle? That's going to be the key. If that limits his mobility, that's going to help out. You won't have to worry about him being sneaky athletic and getting some, breaking off some runs, keep him contained in the pocket. I like that. I just want to make them. It's going to be rough because we're going to have to gear up to stop the run, and when we get a chance, like you said yesterday, we have to hit him, make him feel that pain in that ankle.
Well, that's why I think that they are going to play Justin Herbert, because they have such a good run offense. I think if they were basing their offense around him, as some teams do, I think that this is a risky move because you'd have him in the pocket, 40 times a game. Being that you do have this running attack that you have with Dobbins and Gus Edwards, you're able to start that quarterback, I think, and you're able to keep the defense on their heels enough to where they're not just teeing off on your quarterback on any given play. So I do think if he plays, that plays to their advantage, but I certainly don't want to see him. I want to see Easton Stick. As a Steeler fan, I want to see Easton Stick out there.
Me too. They run the ball 70% of the time so far in this season.
And you know what?
71 rushing attempts, 31 passing attempts.
In small doses, we've been very good against the run so far this year.
Yeah.
I am curious and kind of, I don't want to say worried, but, again, you're facing a team that's going to be running the ball 70% of the time. So, how's the defense going to stand? How's the aging defensive line going to stand against something like this? Certainly something we haven't seen in quite some time. But you know what? We tend to figure out a way to shut the run down eventually. So hopefully that isn't what breaks our back.
Yeah, Cam's going to need more than the three plays you see over and over again on X, on Twitter. He's going to need a lot of those plays that people keep saying, look, this Cam still has it. Cam still has it. He's going to need at least a dozen of those plays because your team runs that ball that much. You have to stuff there and force them to pass. They lost their top two receivers in the offseason, and they replaced them with a bunch of nothing. A couple of young guys, a couple of unproven guys. Quentin Johnson had a rough rookie year, bouncing back a little this year, but take the runaway, force them to pass. You don't want to put the game into Herbert's hand, but I'd rather have them be a little bit more balanced than being able to run. Because we know what it's like to watch the Steelers run all over people. We know what it's like when Baltimore ran all over us with the two running backs the Chargers have. It's a long day for you on the defense.
Mike, you're going to buy or sell this. OC Arthur Smith comes out and says the dam is ready to break, meaning the offense is ready to start being more productive, finding ways to get to the end zone, producing more points, things like this. Mike, are you buying? Are you selling this? I mean, obviously, it's PR rhetoric, and
everyone in the team saying,
and you're not going to say, oh, you know what, this team isn't really that good. We're not ready to do anything, and the offense isn't going to score. But Mike, are you buying that Arthur Smith says that the dam is ready to break? And if it is, do you think it's this weekend?
I'm buying it a little bit because the penalties in game 1 and game 2 brought back how many touchdowns? At least
stop.
2.
They gotta stop.
So if they can do that, and then those plays start hitting, and they don't get called back on penalties, that's just a momentum builder, and you can build off those plays. You know how it is. You score touchdowns. Your defense is ready to go out there, get the ball back for you. Then your offense is even more jazzed up. Their defense becomes shaky, and then you can get the breakout. So if they can play smart, clean football, which is what everyone on this team has talked about, and like you said yesterday, they brought in referees 3 days out of the normal one, to prove the point. Like you guys need to do a whole hell of a lot better. I'm buying it a little bit that the offense is ready to break out. I'm not 100% on board, but I'm
the
getting
toughest
there.
challenge so far, Mike. I mean, compared to the Atlanta defense and Denver's defense, this is the stingiest of the defenses that we faced to this point. So, I mean, that leaves a lot of questions. If the team, the offense does step up, you may not even recognize that it's moving in the right direction because this defense should in fact be that good. And with your Joey Bosa's and your Khalil Macks, and I mean, come on, the whole way down this list, I didn't realize that the Chargers were building this team over the years. I was kind of paying attention to the offense, and of course, everybody's seen the head coach situation going on in the offseason. But this defense is really strong. Again, Mike, to this point, they've only let up 13 points in the first 2 games. But I always come back to say, well, one of those games was against Carolina. Which they're a really bad team. But Mike, here's an interesting number though. Justin Wilson, our quarterback, who is getting the nod this week.
Justin
Fields, him and Josh Allen, guys, are the only 2 quarterbacks that are undefeated with 0 turnovers.
Who would have thought those two?
Who would have thought that these 2 dudes? Because
turnover merchants.
Exactly, because Allen, he's always has a plethora of turnovers, and Justin Fields. I was reading a Bears. Somebody said on social media last night, they said, I can't believe what Wilson is doing in Pittsburgh. He seemed to always fumble the ball. Field, what I'm talking about.
I know, but it's fun to correct you.
Justin Fields, the fact that he turned the ball over every game for Chicago and put the ball on the ground in the fourth quarter. So it's kind of amazing. But I say it's too early. Wait till we start playing good teams. We haven't played any good teams. People are trying to really get a good look at this team and understand what they are going off of a win over Denver and a win over Atlanta. And again, these were not good football teams. I think you're going to get a little bit tomorrow, a little better idea of Justin Fields and a little bit better idea of what this team is against a team like the Chargers.
Yeah, in this Chargers defense, Darwin James, who might be the best safety in the league. Don't kill me, Steeler fans. I love Minka, but Darwin James is a beast as well. And so, are they going to target the middle of the field, or are they going to be hesitant like they were against Atlanta with Jesse Bates? And then you got Asante Samuel Jr. I'm assuming he's going to follow around George Pickens, but he's a good young corner too. I think that's going to be a fun matchup. I think George is going to win that the way he won last week and the week before. And if this offensive line stops committing penalties, look for George Pickens to have it. I'm hoping he'll have a good day. And Brian, my faith in the offensive line in the offense isn't that bad. Okay, I'm not like an old lady dumping my Social Security check in the slot machine.
See, I
said I'm buying it a little bit.
I don't listen. I think that George Pickens is really going to be challenged because, again, he hasn't been challenged to this point. Now you're playing a defense. Now you're playing a team that's known to be able to rush the quarterback, which the other 2 weren't. And we had a hard time. Justin Fields, had a chance to get out of the backfield and scramble a little bit. But again, this defense, I don't think people understand how much better they should be over the Denver and Atlanta defenses. Again, this week is going to tell a lot about this team. And if you think that we're going to be able to just play a 1 receiver football game in the air, it's not going to be able to continue. Omar needs to either make some kind of move. Roman needs to get back. Somebody needs to step up, but you're not going to be able to continue what we've done. Again, it's been very minimal of what we've been able to do so far. You're just not going to be able to continue to do that and be successful as we were in week 1, week 2. We have to make some headway in that area, guys. We have to make some headway. I
tell you what, we're going to find out about our offensive tackles in this game. Going up Khalil Mack and Bosa. Those 2 are absolute beasts, absolute dogs. So we're going to find out about Fatanu. We're going to find out if Dan Moore has really made that jump into being a really good left tackle. We're going to find out.
Absolutely.
Jesus God. Did you read the board?
No, I'm trying to talk. What's going on?
He's like watching the Steeler freak goes watching the Steeler O is like watching 2 old people try.
It really is. It really is. I'm gonna turn my board on, Mike. So just relax over there.
hey, some people like watching those old people fornicate. The NFL's
Mike,
turning into that offense.
and
Now,
that
like a
weird
lot of
smile
teams.
that Mike has on his face
I
is
know, right?
insane. That
Because
speaks volumes.
it made me giggle that I thought of it.
Also, Mike, we do want to say that here, let me give you a couple. Let me give you some numbers here.
Give me numbers. Give me
These are the
numbers.
top four defense going into the weekend. Going by points scored, the
Yeah, the
Chargers
only
are
stat that
number
matters.
one with 13. What's that?
The only stat that matters on defense.
The Chargers with 13, the Steelers with 16, the Vikings with 23, and the Saints with 29. The Saints seem somewhat dangerous at this point, being the points that they're able to put up on offense, and they come in as the fourth best team in scoring defense points allowed. So again, that's the Chargers with 13 points given up, the Steelers with 16 points given up, the Vikings with 23 points given up, and the Saints guys with 29 points given up. Two in the AFC, two in the NFC. Which one of these teams' defenses do you think goes above and beyond in this game and still holds that rank of one of these top four defenses, guys, whenever it's all said and done?
I'm going to go with the Chargers just because I have them winning this game. I think I said like 17-14, 21-14. So I think it's going to be them. I think this is going to be a close, low scoring affair.
Yeah, I don't. There's nothing that indicates otherwise.
Yeah, yeah. Unless the dam breaks for us. Of course,
Yeah,
scoring 14 points on offense is the dam breaking.
yeah. What do we said? The highest we scored was 18, and that was all field goals. All field goals. So again, we gotta figure something out. So whatever they've done this week in practice, I hope that maybe the referees being there a little extra will help out. But big, it's this big, guys. As Derpy asks, is it a must win? No, it's not. It's not a must win, not yet.
No, but it helps.
But it helps. Still early, guys. So you want to stack some wins. Also, Mike. Let me get into this one here real quick. Just because a lot of people are talking about Justin Fields, he tends to be the the big name. Most rushing yards by a Steeler quarterback through the first two games of a season. Cordell Stewart back in 1999 ran for 86 yards, and Justin Fields this year has ran for 84 yards in the first two games of the season. So that's somewhat encouraging, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cordell Stewart teams were nothing to write home about. However, you're getting the same exact team. Again, what I'm seeing from Justin Fields is the same thing I seen from Cordell Stewart. Mike, am I wrong?
No. Like this whole season, these
If
first
you
two
missed
games.
it, Derpy, if you missed it being 1 year old or 3 years old or however you were, you're seeing it now.
Welcome to the 90s.
Welcome to 19. Yes, this is Cordell Stewart's team, and you're watching the team that we watched in the late 90s.
I think you're wrong, but what do I know?
Hold on, I want you to tell me why in a second here, but let me catch up what's on the board. I can always tell Mike starts giggling merrily, and I know that the board is lighting up.
They're on fire today.
P says the O-line sounds like my Pornhub algorithm. Let's see. Some say more cowbell. Steelers say more field position and field goals. That's right. And also P still says slash baby. I love listen, I love Slash. I just knew that I just knew we weren't going to win a Super Bowl with him. We went to the AFC Championship game against the Broncos. He threw four interceptions, and he also lost a fumble in that particular game. You just had this feeling, and you know what, Mike? If this team gets into the playoffs, I might just have that same feeling about Justin Fields. Do you have the confidence that this guy is going to, keep competent? And have the ability to spot everything on defense that he needs to spot at the line? Is he going to be able to audible and getting the situations to make put you in a better situation to make plays? I don't know. I don't know if we have that with this guy. I don't know. Again, to me, this feels very Cordell Stewart-ish. The whole thing, the offense, the way it's ran. And again, Mike, only 2 yards difference in the first two games rushing by this quarterback and Cordell. Come on, this is 1999 to me.
It is. It's feeling like that too around the NFL too. The way teams are just quarterback play is trash right now. So I don't know. And about Fields in the playoffs, we'll see. We'll have to see. He's never been in that current situation in the NFL. He's played big bowl games in college, but that's a different animal.
He's not doing too well in games that aren't crunch games either.
I know.
If he was setting the world on fire with the games that he's actually playing, it would be a different story.
Yeah, and we'll see how he goes throughout the season. And you never know, he might give way to Russ, and Russ might be the one to carry us over the end. So, but it's going to be a wait and see.
Mike, let's continue on the board. It's light and good today, and I love that. I absolutely love that. So we're gonna make sure we get to everybody as they comment throughout the show. I do want to say good morning to everybody. I want to say good morning to Brian,
Oh
Pete,
yeah.
John. So first off, Brian says number 10 in your programs, number 1 in your heart. Speaking of number 10, Santonio Holmes, guys. Santonio Holmes makes this comment. He says, I'd pick JJ Watt over James Harrison to get a game-winning sack. Do you agree with that, Mike?
Ooh.
Number
Ooh.
10.
Ooh.
Number 10 said this. Who I love and wish had never left Pittsburgh. I wish he was still here, even at 40 years old.
Dang, that's a tough one. That is a tough one.
I'd like to have them guys
I
on
want to see
both sides.
Yeah, both
Can you
sides.
imagine?
Oh my God.
I might have to agree.
I don't. Even though Debo quit on the team, I'm gonna have to go with Debo.
Okay, fair enough. Derpy, now I know you're just a TJ Watt guy. You'd get a TJ Watt tattoo on your face if they went to the Super Bowl. You said, who do you think? Who would you rather have to make the last game-winning sack? Do you think that it would be who would be better? Would be James Harrison or TJ Watt?
I'm gonna have to go with James.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know who I would go with. I think that I would go with Watt, I think. But now that you both said Harrison, I'm second guessing myself.
Oh, Harrison has the production in the playoffs. Watt only has like 1 or 2 good games.
But Harrison had a very good team around him and a very good defense, and then the 05 and the 08 defense, and Ben Roethlisberger on the other side. It's kind of like apples and oranges with the situations. I mean, all in all,
That's a tough question.
It is a tough question when you really break it down. I'd probably take TJ. But let's continue on the board. Slash, he did just float them out there, P. I can't remember. How many times he would throw the ball away in key situations. Again, very, very similar to what we've seen from our quarterback in his career to this point. So we'll have to continue to see. John says, I watched Breach Burst and was less uncomfortable than watching the Steelers.
Yeah, that's the one that popped me. That one was great. Love it.
Brian says Holmes obviously isn't talking about a playoff game. That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
That goes in your favor, Mike. Also, Brian says, did he ever see the greatest play in Super Bowl history? It wasn't
he
a sack,
caught
though.
it. He caught it. He caught the greatest play in Super Bowl history.
Who, James Harrison, and then ran it 99
No.
Santonio
Holmes. Santonio Holmes, the greatest game-winning pass and catch in NFL history.
And then also,
he did see
says, definitely don't want to see John's algorithm. Yeah, algorithms is the key today in today's show.
My God,
I don't know if I want to see either of your algorithms, but we must.
I'm intrigued by both their algorithms. Do you guys have newsletters I can subscribe to?
Right.
Yeah,
I want to know this.
Yeah, I don't want to see it. I want to read about it.
And then finally, Mike, as far as listen, before we move on about the Steelers going into the playoffs this weekend, it was announced 167 players were nominated this week for induction into the Hall of Fame. Seven of those players, Mike, were Steelers. The list will be trimmed down to 50 in November. But these are the 7 Steelers that are on the list who could possibly be in the Hall of Fame next year. Hines Ward, Casey Hampton, James Ferrier, James Harrison, Mike Vrabel, Gary Anderson, and John Kuhn. Now, I think John Kuhn is a name that don't even belong on this list for one. But Gary Anderson, come on. Now that we're talking kickers and punters and special teams
players, should be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely, 100%. He's the all-time Steelers scoring leader.
Him and Morton Anderson were the kickers of the 80s. Those are 2 of the best kickers of all time. He should be and should have already been in. I like to see Big Snacks on there getting recognition. He's
Big Snacks, dude. There's no reason that the Big Snacks shouldn't be a candidate, Mike. I mean,
he should
through that era, how many nose tackles could you name that were better than Casey Hampton?
Like it was like him and Vince Warfolk, man. Those were the 2 nose tackles.
And he's exactly.
Yeah, and he was better than Saragusa. Goose is better because of the personality. James Ferrier also deserves that recognition. He was a
Saragoose
damn
was
good.
damn good as well, but
Yeah, he was damn good.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. No, no, I like the Goose, even though he went to the wrong Pennsylvania
But James
school.
Ferrier, I mean,
James Ferrier,
he went
Potsy
to the
went.
right Pennsylvania school, but James Ferrier was as solid as can be. He was such a key part of that team
Yeah.
in those teams winning Super Bowls. James Harrison, you could go on about Mike Vrabel. I don't know if he could go in as a Steeler. I don't think
No, he's a New England Patriot. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
His career here was very limited. He played special teams and
he was buried behind so many good guys here.
And then also John Kuhn. I don't know where that came from, but he is one of the 7 along with Gary Anderson. Mike, is there anybody on this list that you think should be in right now, should be going in this particular?
James Harrison. His career was short, but his prime was undeniable. That he was one of the best players to play that position. Defensive Player of the Year, has the best play in Super Bowl history. The guy was a beast. He was a game wrecker. Quarterbacks get in when they have short careers because they win Super Bowls. That should apply to everyone too. That were dynamic game changers. This guy was a dynamic game changer. They changed the NFL because the way he hit people. That you
remember that Browns game where he knocked 2 guys out in one game?
Yeah,
he knocked 2 guys out in one game.
Yeah, you get rules changed about you should be in the Hall of Fame, and this is going to hurt my argument because I don't think Hines Ward's a Hall of Famer. I think he's the Hall of very good, one step outside. But if he makes
his numbers
are
better than Swan and Stallworth. I disagree.
Different era though.
It doesn't matter. His numbers are better.
They're a different era. You only throw the ball 12 times
Mike,
in
you
one
could
area.
compare other
the ball
for different people in different positions. You would be able to find ways to justify it. I think he does deserve. I think Hines Ward deserves to go in. I think that Gary Anderson deserves to go in.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 soon players that I believe should be in. I think James Harrison, he'll be on that next tier. Derpy, who do you think of these 7 should be going to the Hall of Fame in the next time around? We have Hines Ward, Casey Hampton, James Ferrier, James Harrison, Mike Vrabel, Gary Anderson, and John Kuhn. Who do you like in this group of guys?
James Harrison, Hines Ward, and Big Snacks.
All right, yeah, I guess Big Snacks too. I like Big Snacks.
It just sucks that he doesn't have any numbers that really pop out.
See, Gary Anderson was the best, and he still is the best, and nobody's passed him since. There's no reason
Gary Anderson. My bad.
In there.
Gary Anderson too.
I think, you're going to say things like, dude had the best play in the Super Bowl. This other dude had a Super Bowl MVP. So, again, you can argue all these. You can really argue all these guys. They're all great, with the exception of John Kuhn, in my opinion. But my guys, I think, would be Hines Ward should go in. I think that Gary Anderson should be in. And then my next 2 would be James Harrison and Hampton, followed by a Ferrier. And again, I don't think Vrabel should ever be in as a Steeler. He barely played here. But there you go.
Yeah. Wasn't John Kuhn most of his career spent in Green Bay?
Yeah. So that is going to be trimmed down to 50 guys in November. We will find out then which of these Steelers. But again, man, come on. Gary Anderson has scored the most points in Steeler history. And as we were saying, Mike, I can't recall about a month ago, we were talking. Yeah, exactly. Was there anybody better in that era?
Yeah, like when you're one of the best, if not the best in a decade or an era, you should go in. I don't care what position you play.
And as we were saying last week, Mike, Boaz, as good as he's doing and as much as he's done, he still has like 13 seasons of kicking to catch up to what Gary Anderson has done. So that's what I'm saying. Where he's at, it's kind of unbelievable if you look at the numbers. But next week or next month, I'm pulling for Gary, pulling for Hines. Mike likes Harrison. Derpy likes Harrison. So we will see. We will see.
I want to see them all go in.
I want to see them all be in there. Absolutely.
I have no problems making arguments for or against them.
Guys, enough messing around. Let's get to the important things. Keys to beating the Chargers, Mike. What do you think the keys are to winning this game against the Chargers on Sunday?
Stop the run. Stop the run. Stop the run. Stop the run some more. That's the big plays on defense. Like this stop that run on the defense. You force them to pass the ball. You hate saying that. You put in the ball in Justin Herbert's hand, but I think it makes them easier to defend when they can't rely on the run game and can't rely on the play action. So stop the run, get turnovers if you can. Obviously, we've been winning the turnover battle. Keep that going on offense. You have to contain Khalil Mack and Bosa and 0 turnovers. You got to play clean football. We haven't had we've been winning the turnover battle, but those bad snaps, those bad, whether it's under center or shotgun snaps, those need to be cleaned up big time. And penalties under control. Those are my keys.
I don't know
Penalties,
if it's me
penalties
or
under
it's Mike,
control.
but I'm having a hard time hearing Mike. He's breaking up. Um,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
Derpy, what's your no, you're good. Derpy, what's your keys to winning? Is there anything that you think that the Steelers need to do to that they have to do to win this football game?
Um, I would say win the trenches.
Yeah, you definitely got to win the trenches. Um, my key is this. You got Joe Alt tackle, the rookie out of Notre
Mhm.
Dame. Uh, I think this could go really good or really bad. I think that Joe Alt could either shut down TJ, or I think that TJ can blow him up and have a great day. So yes, you got to be able to win the trenches. You have to be able to stop the run. And I think a big day by TJ in the supporting cast at linebackers and other blitzers play a big role, because again, you're gonna want to make this guy uncomfortable back there, as they did to Kirk Cousins, and going way back to '05, as they did to Peyton Manning in the second round of the playoffs before going on to the Super Bowl that year. You got to hit this guy. You have to hit this guy. You got to hit him. If he stands back in that pocket and you let him pick you apart in key parts of the game, yes, they're going to run, but he is also going to throw. You got to get to him. You got to get in his face. You have to, rough him up a little bit. It's football. Remember that. I mean, hit the guy, knock him down, hit him in the ankle, whatever you got to do, hit him a little bit just so he's not comfortable back. I think if you do that, that's going to go to your advantage.
Also, continuing to protect the ball.
Do we give up a turnover this week, guys? That's another big question. We've not given up a turnover yet after 2 weeks. Do we give up a turnover this week, Mike?
I think we do. I think it's going to be a timely interception.
All right.
It's because one hasn't happened yet. So I'm
It's
being
got to happen,
pessimistic.
right? It's got to happen eventually,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Let's go with the law of averages here.
On the board piece says most kickers playing a whole different game. How many tackles do they make? Yeah, I guess Pat McAfee was the only person that you consider, a kicker punter that was the only good tackler in my life, I think. Was there anybody I'm
Sean
not?
Sweezum, the Canadian. He would go down there and hit some people if he had to.
Yeah, I don't remember the Canadian.
Yeah, he blew out his knee making a tackle. He hit some guy so hard he fucked his knee up, or he was going to
I'm gonna
try
have
and
to
hit
go
the
back
guy.
and check. I don't
Yeah,
recall.
yeah. Sean
Also,
Sweezum.
he says 98.9% of them. P also says miss weak ass attempts, never commit. Yeah, so I'm all on. Listen, I'm all on the Gary Anderson train. I liked him back then.
Me too. His funny little South African accent.
Mike, does Roman Wilson play?
I think so. I think this
I'm
is the
ready.
week we see him.
He can be the
I think
difference
he's
maker.
yeah. If he came back in practice yesterday and had a full practice, that's a good sign. I'm ready to see him out there. He's ready to get out there. He's ready to go out there and be physical. He said he can't wait to go out there and be physical and get
I'm
in on the run
glad
blocking and
to
helping the
hear
run
this,
in the offense
because
any
the
way he can.
linebackers not named George Pickens are like 5 receptions for 27 yards after 2
Yeah,
games.
yeah. He's
Like
ready to get out there.
it's really bad.
Yeah.
5
He,
catches for 27 yards are all your receivers that's not named George Pickens, guys.
I think Roman Wilson can do that in a game.
I sure hope.
Yeah.
If he can't, we are in
We're
trouble.
screwed.
You guys ready to do some overs and unders?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Justin Fields, a half a touchdown pass. Mike, over or
Over.
under?
Over.
Derpy, Justin Fields, a half a touchdown pass. Over or under?
Over.
All right. The Steelers rushing touchdowns, one half. One half of a Steeler rushing touchdown, Mike. Over or under?
Over.
Derpy, same question to you. A half of rushing touchdown for the Steelers this Sunday. Over or under?
Over.
George Pickens, 5.5 catches this week, Mike. George Pickens, 5.5 catches. Over or under?
You know what? The line's going to clear up the holding penalties. Over.
Derpy, awfully optimistic today with you guys. Derpy, 5.5 receptions for George Pickens. Over or under?
I'm gonna take the over.
All right. And finally, guys, we've got a couple more. Boz, 2.5 field goals in this game, Mike. Boswell, 2.5 field goals.
Under.
Oh, man. And Derpy, 2.5 field goals by Boz.
Over.
All right. Interesting, guys. Finally, on the offense, here it is. Steeler turnovers. We have none to this point. The over under 1.5 turnovers by the Steeler offense. Mike, 1.5.
1.5. I'm going to take the under.
Derpy, 1.5. 1.5 turnovers.
Under.
All right. Defense, TJ Watt, guys, is he going to get 1.5 sacks? 1.5 sacks, TJ Watt, Mike.
Under.
Derpy, 1.5 sacks. Facing a rookie.
You know, Mike is very bold and wrong, so give me the over.
I love it. All right. Over. Steelers defense, Mike. Steelers defense, 3.5 sacks.
Under. I don't know if there's going to be that many pass attempts.
Derpy, 3.5 sacks by the Steelers defense. Over or under?
Under.
All right.
Unless that counts with TJ, right?
Yeah, it's all together. The Steelers defense.
Over.
Steeler interceptions, 1/2. Guys, 1/2 of an interception. Mike.
I'm taking the over. So far, we've had a pick every game.
Derpy, that's what worries me is we had a pick every
Yeah, I
game.
know, right?
Derpy, Steelers interception, 1/2. Do they get one or not?
Over.
And finally, guys, the most devastating question
Why?
every week is there going to be yet another devastating injury, 1/2 of a devastating injury by a Steeler player. Mike, over or under?
I hate to say it, but I'm taking the over.
Derpy?
Over as well.
All right. There you have it, guys. Hope you didn't manifest anything here.
You know what? I've been taking the under and we've been getting dinged up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the over. And
I agree, John. I think getting the lead is key, definitely, in a game like this. Because it might come down to in the fourth quarter, the clock and field position, things like this. So I think that getting the lead, keeping the lead, holding the lead is probably key to this game. All right, Mike. Also around the league this weekend in the division, around the division, 1:00, the Giants travel to Cleveland to play the Browns. That is a 1:00 game. 4:25, the Baltimore Ravens, they travel to Dallas to play the Cowboys. That's a 4:25 game. And Monday night, the second of the 2 Monday night games, Washington travels to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals for an 8:15 start. We're going to get any help out of the division this week, Mike? Are we going to get any help from the Giants, Dallas, or Washington?
I think from Dallas, I think they're going to win at home. Yeah, because even though yesterday I thought Dallas would lose, I think they're going to eke out a win for us. The other two teams, no. I don't think we're getting any help from the Giants or from Washington.
I like Washington in this because Cincinnati, they haven't really proved anything. They've done nothing well. They've lost to a couple of teams. I of course, the Chiefs, but they always play the Chiefs well for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's all about, but they did that. They lost to the Patriots, who we've seen last night get their asses kicked by the Jets.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think that my surprise would be the Washington Commanders over Cincinnati. Of course, Mike, I love the idea of Dallas beating Baltimore.
Yeah.
I don't think the New York Giants stand a chance of beating Cleveland. I just don't. That's probably the worst team in the league. In Cleveland again, they got a nice defense and they got things going for them. So
Yeah.
I don't see that one helping us out at all. Some things around the NFL, Mike. We are dealing with injuries. Of course, we've been talking about this, but if you were a 49er or a Rams fan and you were going to this game, would you want your money back? These are the people that are out in the 49ers Rams game. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Shavarius Ward. That's for the San Francisco 49ers alone. For the Rams, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, John Johnson III, Steve Avila. Mike, these are all these will be the reason you would go to watch an NFL game is because of these big names, and none of them will be playing this weekend in the San Francisco Rams
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, that's where I'm selling my ticket. To someone who's not following along to any injury report, people who just want to go to a game to say they went to a game. I'm selling my tickets because I'm not going to go watch.
I mean, if
I'm not going to watch
you
that
can't
game.
feel real good about your team if you're a 49er fan at this point
Oh
because
God, no, your entire offense is out.
they
You
just
you
got
got
rocked
Brandon
by
Ayuk
Minnesota.
yeah,
And now, yeah, right.
you got Brandon Ayuk and Brock Purdy. And that's your offense. Good luck.
It almost seems like they're getting what they deserve out there. But that's
Yeah.
just a
Haha. That's what they get for trying to win more Super Bowls than the Steelers.
that's right. And playing the game all off season with us.
I know, right?
Also, Mike, one other thing. Quarterback leaders, touchdown leaders, I'm sorry, through the first 2 weeks. These are your quarterback touchdown leaders through the first 2 weeks. Baker Mayfield and Derek Carr both have 5. And Sam Darnold and Murray from out in Arizona, they both have 4. So in a league of Mahomes's, Allens, and Hurts's,
Burrows
and all these quarterbacks, there you have it.
These guys who
Tyler
are all,
Murray, Sam Darnold. These are the misfits.
yeah.
You know?
Everyone
How about
but
Sam
Tyler,
Darnold?
right? Who would have thought? Who would have
I
thought?
I did. I've been saying Sam Darnold for 2 years now. And
I the only person I noticed online was a former Green Bay backup quarterback, Kurt Benkert. He's been talking Sam Darnold all off season. People were clowning him, and he's up there in touchdowns playing well.
I've been saying for the
I
past
know you've been
2 or 3 teams he's played for. This guy's good. He just doesn't have anything
He's
around
on
him.
bad teams.
He's on some very bad teams.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, Panther fans and Bryce Young fans, that doesn't apply to Bryce Young. I don't think he's going to be a good quarterback, no matter where he is.
Interesting.
I just was not a fan. Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Like him as a person, but not as a football player.
I don't know him as a person.
He always interviews and stuff. He seems like a good human being.
Huh. Interesting.
Of course, I thought Derpy was a good human being, and then turns out to be a Guardians fan.
Which they did qualify for the playoffs yesterday. I seen.
Who really cares about baseball?
Derpy may be going to some playoff games up there in Cleveland. So, also, guys, the game from last night was a Monday Night Football game between the Jets and the Patriots. Patriots didn't even look like they showed up for this game. Jets, Aaron Rodgers, he's still surprising me. He was impressive out there. Jets win 24-3. Not a big fan of of either one of these teams, or I don't mind the Jets. I'm just not a big Aaron Rodgers fan, so it wasn't a very enjoyable game. But Mike, I got to tell you, at 40 years old, he's still able to sling it around out there pretty well. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
He played the Patriots.
Yeah,
true. But
true.
Yeah.
But you know what? Until last game, they were the number 5 team on this defensive scoring list. The one that I gave you the 4 teams to, they were actually the 5th team going into this week. So, whatever. Guys, let's go to the college ranks. The Pitt Panthers, they host Youngstown State tomorrow at 3:30. Des Reed is the 2nd leading rusher in the ACC with 106.3 yards per game. Mike, the number 10 Penn State, they host Kent State at 3:30. Derpy, number 3 Ohio State hosts Marshall at 12 o'clock. And if anybody cares, Kansas, they go to West Virginia at 12 o'clock tomorrow as well for some college football. In the other kind of football, Mike, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds soccer, they take on the Birmingham Legion. That game's at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Another big situation going on here. The Indiana Fever last night lose their last game of the season. They wrap up their year 20-20, and they qualify for the playoffs. Sunday, game 1. Absolutely. Game 1 on Sunday. The Fever take on the Sun. The Fever are 20-20. The Sun are 28-12. That's game 1. That's Sunday at 3 o'clock. If they win, if they don't win, whatever happens, game 2 is going to be on Wednesday. But then game 3 will be Friday. So Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. The Indiana Fever.
It's a 7-game swing.
Back in the playoffs. On that, do you think that they win?
No. I think they win a game, but I don't think they win the series.
I think they played the Sun very well throughout the year. I think it should be a good series. And you know what? Sometimes referees tend to make things happen, and the league tends to make things happen. It wouldn't surprise me to see her get to the second round. I think after that, they stop giving and anything. And then I think it really plays out. But again, she's good for the league. We will see how the first round of the playoffs go. I'm sure the numbers will be well. To the Diamond guys, the Pittsburgh Pirates, they won. They won the fourth game of the series against the Cardinals last night. They lose the series 3-1. They win 3-2 when they out hit the Cardinals 8-6. Luis Ortiz gets 6 innings in, gives up 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Majinski, Santana, and Chapman come in to finish the deal for him. Get a home run by Grandel, 2 hits by Nicky G and IKF. Bucco's back at it tonight in Cincinnati, starting a 3-game series at 640. Also, Mike, the Paul Skeens, he owns the lowest ERA by a Pittsburgh Pirate starting pitcher since Babe Adams in 1919. Babe Adams, Mike, did this in 1919 with a 1.11 ERA with a minimum of 20 games pitched. 1.11 ERA.
Not bad.
That's
Not bad at all. No.
That was the year of what, the Black Sox, right? Were they 1918 or 1919?
I can't remember. It's one of those 2 years. I want to say 1919. So that means it was 1918.
And then also it's back WPIAL high school football back tonight. Aliquippa, of course, the high school that has the most Hall of Famers in the NFL, the Aliquippa Quips. They are going to be going up against the Penn Hills Indians. Mike, Penn Hills, of course, is where Aaron Donald's from. Going to be another Hall of Famer. But that game is tonight. Aliquippa, Penn Hills. Also, Central Valley will be taking on Beaver here in the Whippeal high school football.
Let's go, Aliquippa.
Absolutely.
They're my adopted team because my East Liverpool Potters suck.
So Brian on the board says I'm literally adding my Caitlin Clark.
Literally.
My Caitlin Clark currently. It will post Sunday morning at 10 o'clock before the WNBA. I can't wait. I've never watched the WNBA playoff game. I can honestly say I've never ever watched a WNBA playoff game. So we'll see how that all plays out. Mike, why don't you tell everybody about the website?
The2dumbyinjers.com. Head on over. Oh my God. Everyone head on over to the 2dumbyinjers.com. You don't have to listen to me when you're over there, stumble through this promo. Go over there, check it out. Got all of our links to social media, all our links to watch the show, wherever you want to watch it. Merchandise store and the blog, which is on hiatus because I can't think. I can't write at the moment. Writer's block. But yes, check out the2dumbyinjers.com. And Ryan froze.
No, I didn't freeze. I'm just waiting for you to finish.
I was finished, and you sat there. I thought it froze.
Derpy, over to you.
If you're new to the 2Dumyinjers show, be sure to subscribe below and pound that like button.
That Mike, how could you not remember that?
How can I forget?
Do you want to practice? Do you want to repeat after me?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. You think you got it, Derpy?
Yes.
I don't think you got it. You sure you got it, Mike?
You gotta pound that like button.
You don't even say that. You just have to pass it off to Derpy. What are you doing?
No, I thought you were passing it off to Derpy.
No, you say what you say, and then you say Derpy, and then he says what he says, and then it comes back to me.
No, I thought the original thing was
that was never the original. What? Hold on.
We gotta try this again.
Derpy, what? Derpy, what was
no.
Derpy, what was the original way?
It was Mike.
Yes, it was supposed to be Mike.
No, I'm pulling up the video tonight.
But yesterday was you,
listen.
though.
Yeah, yesterday you did it
because you didn't say it yesterday. That's why I did it yesterday.
I thought the whole plan. I kind of tuned out during the ever.
All right, so go ahead and if you want, you could take your window down. If you want to pull that up, I'd like to listen to that before we go off the air.
No, I'm not searching for that
because it's not. You know you're wrong.
You're wrong. One, because I might be wrong, and two, I'm too lazy to pull it up.
So anyway, there you go. Here is the question of the day, guys. This is a Chargers question. Of course, because the Steelers play the Chargers this week. This is the last Chargers trivia question of the week. Here we go. What Charger non-quarterback threw for 7 touchdown passes during his career? Guys, the question of the day. What Chargers non-quarterback threw for 7 touchdown passes in his career? excuse me, take a minute to think that over, guys. We're live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. Hope you continue to check us out. All right, guys, on the board as well, play along at home. Question of the day is this: what Chargers non-quarterback threw for 7 touchdown passes during his career as a Charger? Darby, I'm going to start with you on this one. Who do you think it was? I'm looking for a non-quarterback for the Chargers.
I'm gonna go.
Brian on the board says Tomlinson, LaDainian Tomlinson.
That's actually who I was gonna go with.
All right. Derpy picks LaDainian Tomlinson. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
All right. Mike, I'm going to come over to you. What Chargers non-quarterback threw for 7 touchdown passes during his career as a Charger? Derpy says LaDainian Tomlinson. Brian says LaDainian Tomlinson. What do you think?
LT.
You want to go with Tomlinson as well?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right, guys. Everybody's locked in on LaDainian Tomlinson. What Chargers non-quarterback threw for 7 touchdown passes during his career? Everybody said LaDainian Tomlinson. And that is correct. LaDainian Tomlinson is the non-quarterback that threw 7 touchdowns during his career with the Chargers. So there you go, guys. Good job. That wraps up the week for the Chargers. Trivia questions next week. It'll be the Colts. We'll be getting ready for them. So hopefully, guys, we can get this win this week against the Chargers, and we could go full speed ahead up at the Indianapolis. And after that, guys, we get three of the 4 games in October are going to be home games. So hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of that. And Mike, that is something to consider as well. With that group of 4 games we were talking about, 3 of them are going to be at home. That's between the Giants, Jets, and the Cowboys. We'll be on the road to play the Raiders. So I think that should hopefully be able to help us out a little bit.
Some good home cooking.
Absolutely. Mike, anything before we start getting ready to wrap things up for today, for the weekend?
We all saw Ohtani last night go 6 for 6, 3 home runs, 2 stolen bases, the first ever 50-50 guy in Major League Baseball history. I just saw on Twitter someone's like, "Hey, Pirates, let Paul Skeens DH the last series. Let him do it. Maybe Paul Skeens can make history like Ohtani did, be the first guy to have 100 and some strikeouts and 10 home runs in the same season." All right. By someone not named Babe Ruth.
All right, Derpy, anything from you, man?
How about I got something.
Yeah.
It's awful news, but the team that we faced last week, my high school team, their star quarterback was hurt against us, but he assaulted someone.
Oh no.
Yeah, so there you go.
Did he assault you?
Yep. No.
As long as it wasn't you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just put it at that.
Okay.
Derpy out here putting people on blast.
Mine is this, guys. This Saturday, or no, not this Saturday. Saturday, October 19th. I'm sorry about that. Michael Keaton, Pittsburgh's own Michael Keaton from Montour High School and Coriopolis area, will be hosting Saturday Night Live. If you're a Michael Keaton fan, I know Derpy, you like Beetlejuice. I know most people love Batman. Michael Keaton will be hosting Saturday Night Live, October 19th. Check that out. Also, I do want to say, tune in on Sunday. You can tune in right here, or you can tune in over on One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale's page, Sunday morning, 11 to 12, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. The Two Dumb Yinzers will be talking to Brian on his show about the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the LA Chargers game, going all over all the pregame, going over injuries, everything from top to bottom to get you ready for the game on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Don't forget to check in on Brian, One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale, 11 a.m. Sunday morning. Again, you could find it here, or you can find it over on his YouTube page. Also, you want to check out Brian on Wednesdays on his radio show, WBVP 99.3 Beaver County Radio. That goes from 4 to 6 p.m. every Wednesday, 2 hours the whole way through football season. So do check him out. But also, don't forget Sunday morning, we will be back together doing it at 11 o'clock. So we hope to see you there. Derpy,
I got 2 more things.
Oh, fuck. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
It's Friday. It's Friday. Mike is very bold on Friday. Looking forward to the weekend.
Is
And the
that
other
one thing
thing
or two?
is,
Okay, that was one thing.
we're from the town with the great football team. We cheer the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Derpy turns 28 and he's a whole different person. I like it.
Yep.
I like it. He's singing. He's insulting. This is my kind of guy. My one more question, Derpy. Okay, so you did mention to me after the show yesterday your Twitch. You do have a thing on Twitch. How often do you do things on Twitch?
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You could check Derpy out on his Twitch site.
Around
Derpy,
3.
what's that?
Around 3.
Around 3 o'clock. Check Derpy out over on Twitch. And what is that under Derpy Entertainment, correct?
Yeah, Derpy Entertainment. Derpy_entertainment.
So go check Derpy out over on Twitch under Derpy Entertainment Monday. Did you say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday?
Yes.
And that's around 3 o'clock.
Yes.
All right, so do go check Derpy out. He'll be glad to see you there. Looks like Mike has something to say.
No, I was going to say underrated Michael Keaton movie, Multiplicity.
Yeah.
I was trying to say that, but then Derby kept jumping in. Kind
My
of
sister's very
killed the
bold.
moment there.
I do want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Thanking everyone for coming and hanging out with us. We
Yes.
appreciate each and every one of you. We wouldn't do it without you. I want to thank everybody on the board. You guys are always awesome and keep things interesting every single show. You really do. Again, tonight the Pirates start a series against the Reds. College football tomorrow. Our Pitt Panthers, they play at 3:30. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, they start their playoff run on Sunday. That game's at 3 o'clock. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds back in action against Birmingham over the weekend. Loads of high school football. And guys, the biggest one of the weekend, the Pittsburgh Steelers host the LA Chargers in the first home game of the year. The Pigeons are going to be there. Guys, we got to support this team. We got to stack wins. We got to stack them early. It's going to be rough down the road. So you're going to not want to miss that game, 1 o'clock Sunday. That is the Steelers hosting the Chargers. Gentlemen, anything else before we roll for the weekend?
I was going to say, Derpy's stream probably will start at the correct time. He's punctual. Ryan is not. So Derpy will be on time. Derpy will be on time.
Let me clear this up. We have this light here at the studio. Now, Mike, I start this light is literally every day I'm fighting with this light. Okay, so today I got it. Listen, I thought I had a trick figured out, Mike. And I started and I came over behind the console and I started working on my stuff and the light went out. I thought, anyway, the trick that I thought that I had didn't work and it ended up taking me longer to get this whole situation fixed. Besides the point, Mike is bald. Derpy shows at 3. This is the two dumb yinzers. Go Steelers. Mike, anything before we roll?
No, that's all.
All right. I do want to say, Jen, also thank you as well. We appreciate you as well. For Mike in the Steelers
Central Mobile Studio.
Mike, I wish you would put it back up there because I get it mixed up every time. Steelers Central Mobile Studio.
There you go.
Derpy, myself, the two dumb yinzers. Everybody have a great weekend. Bring the good energy because we want to beat these Chargers on Sunday. We'll be back first thing Monday morning to talk about that and all these other sports and events going on over the weekend. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Stay safe. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.